Everybody loves WCW nWo Revenge on the Nintendo 64, one of the undisputed all-time greats. Today we're going to dive into this classic like never before. How you doing, Dan-Dans? My name is Ian. What you are about to see and hear is just one chapter from Triangle X Squared Circle, the wrestling video game compendium. A book that I wrote that is live on Kickstarter right now. Now, if you've watched every video that's come out over the last couple weeks, you may have heard me promoting this book already. Maybe you already grabbed your copy and you're tired of hearing me talk about it. I'm sorry, when a big project comes out, you gotta promote it. It's just how it goes. So with that in mind, I will save all of the dirty details until after the retrospective is over. Here's what you need to know. This is just one chapter of the book. There are over 50 retrospectives in the book, and the link to get your copy is in the description and in the pinned comment. That's a reasonable amount of promotion before jumping into the retrospective itself, right? I think so. So with that in mind, let's get to it.
And now for our feature presentation.
First of all, gorgeous page design, right? Shout out to Jason. The guy is an absolute killer. There's a reason why I wanted him on this project, okay? Second of all, yeah, this is what the audiobook is going to be like. It is a stretch goal, so let's try and hear it. Now, I'll shut up. Let's get down to business. There was no way to know it at the time, but in October of 1998, fans of World Championship Wrestling were in the midst of the final days of the company's reign at the top of the industry. On the back of the Mr. McMahon vs. Stone Cold Steve Austin feud, D-Generation X's continued hijinks, and the Attitude Era at large pushing the boundaries further and further, the World Wrestling Federation were about to lock in a chokehold they wouldn't release until WCW breathed its final breath. In the moment, though, across the entirety of 1998, WCW were still rockin' and rollin' to the best of their ability. The storied Sting vs. Hogan feud, which tragically went off the rails at Starrcade 1997, reached something of a satisfying conclusion at Super Brawl, where Sting finally vanquished Hogan for good. The nWo would splinter, with founding member Kevin Nash forming a red iteration of the faction known as the Wolfpack, bringing the likes of Conan, Lex Luger, and the aforementioned Stinger into the fold. After reaching an unbelievable 173-0 winning streak, the man called Goldberg demolished Hollywood Hulk Hogan in the main event of the July 6th episode of Monday Nitro, winning the WCW World Heavyweight Championship in front of a live crowd of over 41,000 screaming fans. Mirroring the company's still white-hot television product would be their next video game offering on the Nintendo 64, WCW nWo Revenge. Aki Corporation remained at the helm, this time with the soon-to-be legendary Hideyuki Geita Iwashita in the director's chair. From the moment the N64's power switch flipped, Revenge sets out to spike the player's heart rate with a pulse-pounding intro cinematic. It's a dark and lonely night. A semi-truck in the distance draws ever closer to the camera when, BAM! Lightning strikes, illuminating the entire screen and, by proxy, the player's room. The sight of the man called Sting screeches the raging semi in its tracks. Quick, snappy, music video-style cuts of finishing moves and high-flying dives play between introductions of the company's myriad factions. The nWo, WCW, The Flock, the Cruiserweight Division, the nWo Wolfpack, and more. As the bumping soundtrack reaches its climax, Hollywood Hogan and Sting lock eyes. This opening package made it clear from the get-go. WCW nWo Revenge was not another localization project. This was WCW through and through at their absolute best. Unlike Aki's previous World Championship Wrestling titles, Revenge no longer shares the spotlight with generic versions of Japanese wrestling promotions. In WCW vs. the World on the PlayStation, just 15 of the 60 playable characters were members of the WCW roster. The follow-up, WCW vs. nWo World Tour on the Nintendo 64, cut the overall roster down to 40, but expanded the WCW representation up to 20. WCW nWo Revenge's talent pool balloons beyond 60 wrestlers, 50 of which were active competitors on WCW's TV programming. Outside of the playable roster, ringside managers also make their debut. Kimberly Page, Jimmy Hart, Miss Elizabeth, Dusty Rhodes, Sonny Ono, and more accompany their clients to the ring during the brand new full-length ring entrances, pulled straight from an episode of Monday Nitro. After emerging from the tunnel, Diamond Dallas Page stops, throws up his signature hand sign, and bang! Pyro explodes around him, flashing the screen with blistering force. When the Macho Man, Randy Savage, enters the ring and soaks in the applause of the fans, he audibly yells his trademark, "Oh yeah!" La Parka, well known for his use of the steel chair, walks the aisle with his favorite weapon in hand, ready for a war beyond the rules of the ring. These entrances, though accurate in their recreations of each wrestler's movements and body language, unfortunately do not compare with true-to-life theme songs. Due to limited space on the Nintendo 64's cartridges, members of the nWo Wolfpack like Sting, WCW stars like Goldberg, and the leader of the flock, Raven, all entered to one of just a handful of generic entrance themes. But where the music failed to impress, the visuals of the sets did not. For the first time in Aki's history developing video games based on the WCW license, Revenge is a perfect visual representation of the company. The Monday Nitro stage, with its gigantic, diamond-plated steel WCW letters on either side, looks perfect. The gray mats at ringside are appropriately trimmed with flames, while the dark gray canvas and black ropes replicate the very ring in which Goldberg captured his first world title. Pay-per-view events feature different colored ring aprons and mats to complement their distinct stages. The Sold Out and Starcade rings, for example, display the show's logo front and center on the canvas. In place of Super Brawl's entrance ramp is a red carpet. Bash at the Beach, WCW's Summer Spectacular, boasts a wooden boardwalk-style stage, complete with sand on the floor beneath the crowd, a tiki bar on the upper set, and vertical surfboards for added flair. Halloween Havoc, the company's biggest pay-per-view event of the year, according to former WCW president Eric Bischoff, retains its spooky, scary identity. Fog hangs in the air, flowing freely between gravestones etched with the names of WCW's biggest stars. Fans in the audience raise their homemade signs above their head, with front row ticket holders even hanging their creations over the edge of the guardrail. It may have taken a long time to get here, but with Revenge, Aki finally nailed the look of World Championship Wrestling. In addition to accurate rings and stages, Aki reworked many of the game's finishing move animations. Sting's Scorpion Death Drop is no longer a standard reverse DDT. Now the Stinger gets a handful of the opponent's hair, looks them in the eyes, and in one fell swoop cinches the hold and wrenches their head to the mat with near fatal precision. The opponent even taps at the Stinger's grip, seemingly pleading to be released just before execution. A generic, smooth powerbomb has been removed from Kevin Nash's repertoire, who now nails a picture-perfect jackknife powerbomb, just as he did in real life. The Battle Royal is the biggest addition to Revenge's list of match types. Anywhere from 4 all the way to 40 wrestlers can compete in one massive showdown, where pinfalls, submissions, and ring-outs dictate eliminations. In a multiplayer setting, being eliminated allows you to take control of the next wrestler to enter the match, resulting in a random luck-of-the-draw lottery system, perfect for gaining, well, revenge on whichever wrestler ejected you in the first place. Championship Mode offers players the opportunity to fight through the rankings on their way to a shot at the title belt of their choosing. Each and every belt in the company is featured in the game, with the World Heavyweight, United States, Cruiserweight, television, and tag team championships all having their own title holders. After completing a specific belt's ladder, that title will remain around the waist of the chosen wrestler until the player runs the ladder again and defeats the reigning champion in the final contest. Winning the World Heavyweight Championship with a member of the nWo will result in the title being defaced with spray paint, much to the delight of fans around the world. In terms of customization, creator wrestler modes weren't yet common in Western wrestling games. While the ability to craft a completely original character from the ground up may not be present, the option to edit every wrestler's attire is. Alliances are formed and broken in the pro wrestling business on a weekly basis, and the costume change mode allowed players to keep up with these betrayals. Recoloring Bret Hart's tried and true pink tights to red might make him a perfect fit for the Wolfpack. Removing Sting's singlet and dyeing his black tights gold returns him to his days as a neon-colored surfer. Costume change was brand new to Aki's WCW offerings, though it is worth noting that Virtual Pro Wrestling 64, the Japanese version of WCW vs. nWo World Tour, included this mode back in 1997. WCW nWo Revenge marked not only Aki Corporation's greatest achievement yet, but World Championship Wrestling's greatest video game ever. With nearly 2 million copies sold, Revenge would never be dethroned as the highest-selling wrestling game on the Nintendo 64, nor would it be outdone by any future WCW game to come on any platform. This would be Aki's final team-up with World Championship Wrestling before aligning themselves with the World Wrestling Federation to release WWF WrestleMania 2000 and WWF No Mercy in the years to come, both of which would run on the same engine as Aki's WCW games. Upon the October 1998 release of Revenge, WCW were mere months away from the beginning of a downward trend they'd never recover from. Whether it was the finger poke of doom, the complete collapse of creative direction, or their very own television network looking to exit the professional wrestling business altogether, the company's fate was sealed. With this release, though, WCW stood atop the mountain one last time, taller than ever before. Oh, there it is, Dan-Dans. That's just one chapter of Triangle X Squared Circle, the wrestling video game compendium. It has been a lifelong dream of mine to write my own book, and with your support, this book will be a reality. And I say with your support because that's how Kickstarter works. If we don't hit funding, this book is never going to be available. You're not going to be able to buy it on a website. I'm not going to be giving it away on Patreon. This is it. This is the project. And with you in my corner, I think we can make this book a reality. With write-ups not only from me, but from Captain McKay, Jay Hunter from OSW Review, and an in-depth interview with Mike Herman from Retrosoft Studios all about Retromania Wrestling, there's a ton of bang for your buck here. If you want the fancy version that comes with the signed art card, that's an option. There is a stretch goal for an audio book, so every chapter of the book would get this treatment that you're seeing and hearing here today. These are all things that are on the table. Triangle X Squared Circle, the wrestling video game compendium. Get your copy on Kickstarter today. I love you. Thank you so much for the support, and until next time, I will see you soon.